For 21 through 23, says for each pair of triangles, tell A, are they congruent, yes or no, B, write the triangle congruency statement, and C, give the postulate that makes them congruent. Of course, if they are not congruent, then parts B and C do not have to be done. So let's look at 21. It tells us that I is the midpoint of segment ME and segment SL. So this is the midpoint. That means that these two segments are congruent to each other, and then these two segments are congruent to each other. They have a pair of vertical angles. So these two triangles are congruent by side angle side congruence. So that's going to be what we put here. And now we just need to write the congruent statement. So triangle IMS is congruent to triangle IEL. Again, angle I is your vertical angle. That's going to correspond to angle I, which is the vertical angle over here. Angle M and angle E are congruent to each other, and angle S and angle L are congruent to each other. On 22, it might help if you use two different colors to identify the two different triangles. So here is our first triangle. It is a right triangle. This leg is marked. And then we have this right triangle right here. And this leg is marked. Since these two triangles share this side, then WX is congruent to WX because of the reflexive property. So these are right triangles. The hypotenuse is congruent in both of them, and the legs are congruent. Therefore, these two triangles are congruent by HL. So we would say yes, HL goes here, and then we would write the congruent statement. So triangle VWX is congruent to triangle YXW. Now if you look at 23, the only thing that's marked is two sides. Nothing else is marked. Well, we don't have any postulates that allow us to have two sides without knowing that it's a right triangle or knowing another angle. So these we cannot prove that they are congruent to each other.